Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, it is 2 a.m. It actually feels earlier to me. I don't know why. But it's 2 a.m. and I just dropped off my good Judy, Tanya Jean Applestein. We went back to the Meijer this evening. She was like, I have a couple more things to get and then I'm not gonna go back for a while. And I said, okay. So she said, do you wanna go with me? I said, sure. And we don't have a thermometer and I just wanted to make sure that we had one in case one of us would get sick, which I think is probably a good thing to have anyway. So let me just tell you, they are so sold out of so many things. There was no chicken, there was no meat, there was no chicken, no hamburger, nothing, no bacon. There was like one thing of bacon left. All the meat was gone. Tons of the frozen food is gone. Tony and I noticed that like all the purses that were on clearance were completely gone. That was interesting. Like all these purses were gone. But everything is just completely cleared out. So I was like, at the end, she got like food and stuff that she needed just for the week. And I was like, well, I want to get a thermometer. So we went over to the every thermometer was gone, every single one. And so then Tanya was like, well, what about a baby thermometer? So we went over to the baby section and the only thing that they had left were rectal thermometers. And I was like, yeah, I don't really want a rectal thermometer. I mean, I guess like, you know, in an emergency, I could use that, but it was expensive. And then they had these kits that were like, basic health needs for babies or whatever. It was like a little kit that you would like take on a vacation or something with you, and it had like a nice thermometer in it and some other stuff. So I bought that, and well, actually Tanya bought it for me because it was the only thing I got. The store was kind of busy. It was interesting. Tanya and I were talking about that, how I had gone to Kroger earlier today too, because Alex wanted me to pick him up some stuff on my way home. And Kroger, it was busy, but it wasn't as busy as it was yesterday. But I will tell you, like Kroger's a grocery store. That was really kind of weird to go into because, like all the juice boxes and stuff were gone. It was weird what was gone. I think part of it is that the kids are out from school. So there were a couple things I wanted to, I was reading through the comments, a couple of the comments that I wanted to like address. By the way, I just want to say this, like if I pick out a comment that you guys say and I say something about it, that doesn't by any means, that doesn't by any way mean that like I'm offended by the comment or whatever. I don't know who it was that reached out to me. I'm sorry, I don't remember, but whoever it was the person that left the comment about that it felt like a very, like me being with Mel that weekend felt like a very wholesome comment or weekend. And she was really sweet and she reached out and said, I hope I didn't offend you. It seemed like you were a little offended or whatever. I thought that was a really nice comment. I actually really liked that comment, that it was like a whole, because it felt very wholesome, you know? It was, you know, I consider like my friendship with Tanya or like our weekends together and stuff like that very wholesome, and that's actually a word that I like. Like I think that's a compliment, you know. Trust me, I had my life where I wasn't wholesome, so I feel like that's a compliment to say to me, you know, or to say to somebody. But if I bring up a comment, I don't want you guys to think that I'm offended by it. It's just that I think it's funny or, you know, whatever, or I want to address it. Somebody said something, they said 2 rolls of toilet, I was trying to remember who said this because I thought it was funny. They said 6 rolls of toilet paper in 2 days, LOL, or something like that. I don't know what I said last night when I was talking about we only had 6 rolls of toilet paper left. I mean, that'll last us for a while. I mean, we don't go through toilet paper like that. I mean, we really don't, I swear we don't. But what I was saying was, you know, like, you can't get toilet paper anywhere. Like, I don't want to be, like, at home and we're like, there's literally nowhere that you can buy toilet paper. I mean, and I'm sure that they'll restock it and stuff like that, but I just want to make sure that we have enough for, like, the next week or two, you know what I mean? And then the other thing was, somebody asked something about, like, there was a lot of discussion about the school closings, and but people shared like different areas and said the schools in California are closed and whatever. So I actually got online last night before I even knew the comment that people were going to be commenting on the school closings, because I wanted to see, because like in Hamilton County, which is like the north side of Indianapolis, is close to where we live, they just closed down all the schools. And the schools are closed like spring break. I don't know when spring break is, but anyway, today was their last day, and for a lot of them, Thursday was their last day. And they're closed until like, I mean, a lot of them, you guys, it goes really long. So like, okay, Indianapolis Public Schools, which is like the hugest district in Indianapolis, which, let me just put this in perspective for you, okay? It's kind of a joke, like with school closings with snow, because like they never close. Like like IPS, if IPS closes, which is Indianapolis Public Schools, if they close, you know it's like blizzard conditions. Well, IPS was one of the first townships to close. And they're closed. I should look it up and read it for you guys. I mean, I could not believe it. It's like, they're closed for like a month. Like all these schools are closed for like a month, like the middle of April. And then at that point, they're going to reevaluate, but most of them are going to online classes that you don't come in to school for, that you just do your schooling online. Or a lot of them will say they're through like the 10th or whatever, and then they're gonna do online. So they're taking this time to like set up the online classes of how people can study from home and whatever. So yeah, it's like, I'll pull in here in a second and I'll read it to you guys. It's surreal. It feels very weird. Like, I read like all of the college closings. The majority of all of the universities in Indiana are closed. Like, from now on. Like, a lot of them aren't having graduations. Tanya's son is supposed to graduate this year from college, and they're not having his graduation. So it's scary, you know? It's real scary. I think I'm just gonna, you know, try to avoid going to really, really crowded places. That's what they're recommending, you know, to not go to really crowded places. Which I don't really anyway, very often, but unless I travel, like I just went out of town. I reviewed these today, these Smart Waters. This is the cucumber mint. I'd actually had them before, but I loved them, so I want to talk about them. And this is the watermelon mint. They are so good, you guys. Okay, we're going to talk about my book in just a second that I finished last night, because it was, oh my God, so good. But I want to read you these closings. Yeah, and like, I guess people are freaking out because, like, of course, you know, just because the schools are closed doesn't mean that businesses are closed. So then you have all these kids at home with parents that have no daycare or can't afford daycare, you know, for the next month. Like, what do? You know what I mean? My sister-in-law, she like volunteers part-time in the school where Carlitos goes to school, and they have like a pre-kindergarten thing, and so Sebastian goes to the pre-kindergarten thing, and that's where she helps out and volunteers. And because like they have their school has like 50% is like Latino population, and so she like does a lot of translation and things like that, because Liliana's English is pretty good. And so she eats lunch like 3 days a week with Carlitos and his little friends, and then Sebastian eats with them too, which I think is real sweet. And she posted a picture on Instagram today, and she was like, last lunch before the break. Okay, I'm gonna pull into this parking lot here, and I'm gonna read you guys this, because I mean, like, it won't, unless you're from Indiana, it won't mean a lot to you because of these school townships, but like, I'll explain it as I'm going in the colleges. But like, I was floored. I was like, it was weird reading it. And you can look it up in your area and just look up school closings, and I'm telling you, it'll tell you like every like university and stuff, and every like the school district. I think Indiana right now has 26 cases of the coronavirus. And I don't believe that we've had any deaths, but I could be wrong. I'm right now I was looking at different, oh, you can't see, but different Keurigs, because I want a Keurig. This is what I want to know. Okay, I can't move in this chair. Here's my question. I kind of really want the Keurig that you make the lattes and cappuccinos in, okay? And it's like the most expensive one. And I think it's like $219, although I saw it on Amazon Prime for like $174. That's the one that my sponsor has, and she swears by it, and she loves it. Okay, but I mostly make like iced coffees, but I would like to be able to put like flavors in it and do like, you know, different kinds of things, right? So I was looking at the Keurig Elite, which specifically makes iced coffee. Do you guys, for those of you that out there, do any of you have the Keurig Elite or the one that makes the cappuccinos that has the things on the side for the foam and whatever? And if you do, which one would you recommend? Or do you think it's a waste of money to have the extra thing on the side because it's bigger too? Okay. Indianapolis. School closings. Okay, I wish I had the same article that I pulled up the other day. But I know it's not going to be the same one. This isn't the one that I did the other day, no. Okay, I want to read the article that I read the other day. I feel like it was... I feel like it was the Indiana Business Journal. I don't know why I felt like that. Let's see if it pulls anything up. Oh, come on. Okay. Maybe this is it. So it's like, okay, every event in Indiana has been closed down. The St. Patrick's Day Parade, canceled. Greening of the Canal, canceled. Shamrock Run and Walk, canceled. Is St. Patrick's Day this weekend? Was St. Patrick's Day already? Okay, and then... Carmel, okay, so Carmel, Hamilton Heights, that's where I went to school, Carmel. Hamilton Heights, Hamilton Southeastern, Noblesville, Mooresville, and Western Washington schools will close March 16th through the end of each district's spring break and will be utilizing e-learning days during the closures. And then all public schools in Marion County will be closed beginning March 16th, along with city-sponsored charter schools through until April 15th. However, IPS announced its closure would begin April 5th. So that's, okay, so until April 5th, or 13th, okay. Universities. Ball State, beginning March 16th, all in-person classes will be replaced with virtual instruction through the end of the semester. Butler, spring break has been extended through March 18th. Beginning March 19th, all classes will be online through at least April 4th. DePaul, all in-person classes will be suspended at the end of the day on March 13th. So basically, like, Ball State's done for the semester. DePaul, all in-person classes will be suspended at the end of the day on March 13th. Classes meeting March 16th through 20 will be suspended to give the faculty and staff time to prepare for a transition to e-learning alternatives. Franklin College, distance learning will take place in the place of classroom setting from March 18th to 27th. Indiana University, beginning March 23rd, all classes will be taught remotely until April 6th. So it goes on and on in here. Notre Dame is till April 13th. There was a couple of them that were like, where was it? All events at the Indiana State Fairgrounds are closed until further notice. The fire department instructors conference is closed. Billie Eilish concert canceled. Michael Bublé concert canceled. All high school sports canceled. Except, this was interesting. Where was it? The Indiana High School Athletic Association said the boys basketball regionals and girls gymnastics state finals will continue as scheduled. The Indy 11, which is a soccer team, is the soccer team, has suspended the 2020 USL season for a minimum of 30 days. The Hockey League has suspended the 2019-2020 season with no end date given. The Indianapolis Indians has delayed the start of the 2020 season until further notice. Their first game was scheduled for April 9th. Indiana Pacers, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said that league's hiatus will likely last at least a month. And the NCAA, all remaining winter and spring NCAA championships have been canceled. I mean, it's crazy. This was the same article that I read yesterday. It's crazy. So it looks like it's through like the first week of April. So right now that's 1, 2, 3 weeks that kids are out of school and go back to school the first week of April. But I mean, I guess I could go on longer. That's why they're trying to figure out the e-learning and stuff like that. Anyway, you guys want to know what I have in the backseat of my car? You're going to be so jealous. I'm not going to show you, but it's my review tomorrow. I just keep on going in and out. It's my review tomorrow. I have every kind of Girl Scout cookie in the back of my car. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So I will be reviewing Girl Scout cookies tomorrow. Just in case you'd like to mosey over to my review channel and see which ones are my favorites. There's a new one out this year. The girl and her mom were very, very sweet. Tanya was like, did you buy it from a Girl Scout? I was like, well, who did you think I would buy it from? She was like, well, she said something about you could buy them online or something. I said, no, I bought them like in the grocery store. There was just a little white bird standing out there in the middle of all that whole grass. It was so weird. She said, well, I think you could buy them online or something. I said, no, I was in Kroger. I was coming out of Kroger, and the girl had a little table set up. And so, when I saw her when I was walking in with her mom, and I was like, do I really want to get cookies and whatever? And then I was like, I think that would be fun to have, do that as a review. Not to mention, like, hello, I love Girl Scout cookies. So when I was going out, I was like, I asked her, I was like, now, is this every kind of cookie that she said, oh, I started by like, let me have one of the new ones, let me have this. I was gonna like compare and contrast like one or two kinds, And then I was like, are these all of the cookies? There were 8 boxes. I know that there are some that are missing. I just know, because I'm like thinking back now, there was like none of the peanut butter ones, and there was something else that was missing. But anyway, so now my favorites, I think, are called Samoas. Those are my favorites. So I got a box of those. And my mom used to love the Thin Mints. She used to put them in the freezer. But anyway, I said, now, is this all of them? And she said, yeah, this is all of them. And I said, okay, they're not that expensive for what I thought. I mean, I guess they are for cookies, but for Girl Scout cookies, I didn't think they'd be that much. So I said, I'll take a box of each. Her eyes lit up. It was so sweet. And it was $40. And she was like, do you want a bag? And I said, I would love a bag. So she went inside the grocery store and got me a bag. It was real cute. And her mom, like, took my money and stuff. It was real sweet. I said, now, how are you guys selling a lot of them? And her mom said, Which, this always kills me too. Like, the girl's like trying to talk and her mom's talking over her. I'm just like, which I talk over people, so I understand. But I'm like, let her talk. I said, honey, are you selling a lot of them? And her mom's like, oh yes, we had to go back home and get more because we'd sold out of all of them. And I said, wow, you must be so proud. I said, have you guys done real well today? And I looked at her and the girl started talking again. And then her mom goes, today's our last day. We're hoping to sell out of all of them today. I go, well, I hope I helped a little bit with that. Oh yeah, you were so helpful. Thank you so much, and enjoy your cookies. And I was like, okay. Tanya was saying, I was telling her about it, and she was like, whenever I think about Girl Scout cookies, I always think of that Melissa McCarthy movie. She didn't say Melissa McCarthy. She actually said that girl that was in Bridesmaids. I go, oh, Melissa McCarthy. She goes, yeah. She goes, do you remember the movie where she was like selling Girl Scout cookies? I said, uh-huh. I liked that movie. I like any Melissa McCarthy movie. It would drive me crazy if I did this the whole vlog. So what did I do today? Anyway, in regards to what is going on with the health issues and stuff, you guys please stay safe. You know, I know there's a lot of different opinions out there about what's real, what's not, what experts are saying, what experts aren't. You know, I would say please just take care of yourselves. I think we can, all of us, get a little panicky in these times of, you know, that are frenzied, but let's be kind to one another. You know, we don't have to completely, we don't have to bring the ugliness of our souls out just because it's scary times. You know, let's try to stay compassionate and kind to others, and I will do the same, and, you know, try to stay as healthy as you can, and, I don't know, Tanya and I got kind of weird about it, talking about it. It's like, I talked about this last night. I wish, you know, maybe this was a time that we learned to kind of lean on each other a little bit instead of, I've seen all these videos of people fighting in grocery stores and stuff. I'm like, you know, then somebody posted a picture, and actually somebody commented on my video about this today too, about their grandmother not being able to get the things that she needs. And I saw this picture, and it was like this older lady, this elderly lady, and she was standing in a grocery store, and it was like some like post or article or something about she couldn't get the things that she just needed, you know, just her daily things, because they were all gone at the store, and she was just standing there. And I said, I think, you know, like, I just don't think that we think about the other person, you know what I mean? I mean, I like made a really deliberate effort to like only buy what I needed and not any more than what I needed. Because I had seen other people talk about that online, and I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. You know, like, let's not stock, we don't need to stockpile and whatever. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's scary. Not interesting, but I hope it, you know, like, I don't know. I hope by closing things down and isolating things, maybe it will end it quick, you know? And hopefully it won't get a whole lot worse, and I don't know. So anyway, it was at the end. Anyway, just to wrap that part up, just please stay safe, you guys, and stay healthy, and let's try to care for one another and be kind to one another during all of this. This place right here, like this intersection, always freaks me out, because this is, if you turn left, you go to the Baumeister house, Fox Hollow Farms. When I'm like driving around listening to my audiobook, if I'm listening to something scary, I always lock my door right there. It freaks me out. Oh, speaking of books, okay, let's talk about the Delia Owens book. Oh my God. So, let me just tell you, first of all, Delia Owens, Where the Crawdads Sing. I finished it last night. I ugly cried at the end. Well, several times at the end. And like by ugly cry, I mean like sobbing tears. And I was shouting like, oh my God, at certain parts of the book too. Which I have not read a book like that has moved me so much in so long. I will tell you, the narrator was probably one of the best narrators I have ever listened to. I love Bonnie Turpin, but it wasn't Bonnie Turpin. But Bonnie Turpin is one of my favorite narrators on Audible. But this person, I don't know who it was, this woman, I feel like I've listened to her narrate something else. She read this book so eloquently. I would really, really recommend listening to the audio version. If you want to read the book because you like to, physically read a copy versus listening to that's fine too. But I'm telling you right now, like, it is so, like, it's almost read like poetry. It's so beautiful. I was telling Alex today, I said, I think this might be my new favorite book of all time. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, even more than To Kill a Mockingbird? I said, I don't know, like, it's weird with, like, books. I feel like maybe I'm in a time in my life where I need a new favorite book. And it really profoundly impacted me. It really made me think a lot about things. And it was interesting because I had tweeted something. I think it was either somebody said it on my vlog, or it was like in the thread that I tweeted it out, because I tweeted it out and said something about how I had finished it and it was like worth the hype and all this kind of stuff. And I think it was underneath that somebody commented and said something to the effect of like, she did such a fantastic job of like weaving life lessons, or just lessons in general, into the story. And it's really true. Like, I mean, it's so heavily layered. The book is it's so fantastic. It is, oh my God, it's just so fantastic. I can't speak enough about it. And and it's a slow book, but not slow, like, it's slow, like, in what it's about, but the book is a fast read. Like, you don't want to stop reading it. It's so good. And it is a thriller, like, not a thriller, but there is a mystery to it. And the thing about the book that's interesting to me is, I love series and I love, what do you call them? Duologies and trilogies and things like that. But I mostly read standalones. And I guess when I went into it, I thought it was a standalone. I didn't think it was part of a series or anything like that. I just assumed it was a standalone. I hadn't heard anything about like a sequel coming out or anything. And I guess I just didn't really think one thing or another, but I just assumed it was a standalone, which it is. And, well, I'm assuming. I don't really know, Anyway. Often when I read a book, there's a lot that I feel like is left at the end that I don't know the answers to, or I feel like the book is incomplete in some way, Even if it's purposely left incomplete, I still don't understand. There is not one thing that is brought up in this book that is not answered by the end. And I have not read a book in years, I mean years upon years upon years, that I felt as complete when I finished it when I finished this book. And you know what it reminded me of, kind of, the end of it? The ending I didn't expect, I will say that. I didn't expect how it ended. And there was a lot about the book that I didn't expect. But, like, okay, so I love the show Lost. And I know a lot of people didn't like the ending to it, but I thought it ended beautifully. I thought it was just a fantastic ending, and it fit the whole idea of the show. I thought it was just so well done. And this felt similar to that. It was a spiritual ending, although not spiritual. It just felt perfect. It felt like the perfect ending to this book. And I just was so impressed with it. I just was so, I mean, it is fantastic. It just absolutely was just so beautiful to listen to and to read. It was just so fantastic. So if you haven't read it, you definitely should. And you know what's interesting? I was thinking about this. A lot of the book really reminds me of Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, it really, really does. And, you know, and I think, like, in retrospect, I think she's probably heavily affected by Harper Lee, but I think that she was able to, in some way, achieve some of the things that Harper Lee wanted to achieve because the book was written today. I think To Kill a Mockingbird came out in 61. I could be wrong. But I think she was able to achieve a lot of the things that she wanted to achieve because the book was written today, not in 61, if that makes sense. Even though, interestingly enough, the majority of the book takes place from 1952. Well, it all takes place 1952 to 1969. And it goes back and forth. And it's just the way that it's woven. And you know, somebody said that these life lessons are woven so tightly within, like, it's so true. Like, I don't know how they said it in the comment, but it was so true. It's just like, I don't know. And there was just some fantastic lines in the book that she said that I think I'll forever just remember, you know, and that's kind of spooky, that pickup truck just being out there in the middle of the night at that thing. Anyway, if you haven't read it, you definitely should. It's fantastic. And now I'm actually doing a reread from when I was in college. When I was in college, I read this book called Ferris Beach by Jill McCorkle. And Jill McCorkle was, at that time, an English college professor. I think she taught at a college called Hollins College, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it was the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. I can't remember where exactly she taught, but she taught at like 1 or 2 different colleges, English. And I read this book called Ferris Beach. And I was so, like, affected by this book, just the writing of it. And because, you know, I was taking Southern Lit classes anyway, or reading a lot of Southern literature. And I was reading, like, Eudora Welty and Faulkner, who I didn't love, and Carson McCullers, and so then I come across Jill McCorkle. It's funny because I'm looking at it right now. It says Ferris Beach, Chapter 4, Jill McCorkle. And I came across Jill McCorkle. I don't even know how I found the book. It wasn't like a bestseller or anything. I have like an original copy. I actually loaned it to somebody, and I don't know who gave it, if they gave it back to me or not. It's whatever. I've long since stressed out about lending people books and not getting them back. I'm like, I hope they enjoyed it. It's kind of how I feel about it. But the book is about these 2 girls. I think they're like probably middle school age. And this one lives in this small town. And the other one like moves in next to her. And her mom's kind of like wild. And they become close friends. I remember the last, like, line of the book, which is so strange to me. But I ended up becoming, like, a super fan of her writing, like, overnight. I mean, I found out, like, I found a contemporary Southern writer, and then all of a sudden I really liked, you know, contemporary Southern writing. And, her stuff is just so good. I don't think she's written anything in a while. So anyway, she really reminds me of like Billy Letts, if you've read Billy Letts, who wrote Where the Heart Is, that I've talked about. And she's written several other books that are just like Shoot the Moon. And it was funny because I was watching Where the Heart Is when I was in Arizona one night going to bed. So I was like, this is a happy movie that'll help me go to sleep. And that's such a great movie and book. The book is even better than the movie. But what was the girl's name? I can't remember. Something Novalee or something like that. She named her baby Americus. But anyway, just the details are so like fun to read because it feels like you really get to know these people. And then the storylines are just deep, like really rich with like, you know, these incredible stories. But anyway, So this one class that I took a jazz poetry class, and I had this professor that I absolutely loved. I became friends with him. He was a really nice guy. He and his wife moved to like somewhere in New York, I think, but he was a fantastic professor. And I remember I was writing these I wrote a couple jazz poems. So jazz poetry is poetry that is like you either talk about jazz, like there's an inclusion of jazz in it, or you do like a cadence, like a jazz cadence kind of to it. And anyway, I remember like that was like at the height of my addiction, and on some poem that I wrote, he like wrote this little note encouraging me to like get sober. I remember that. I was very blessed to have people in my life that actually took notice, like as I got older, took notice to care enough to say something to me about that kind of stuff, you know? But I remember also I was writing these poems, and at the time I was listening to a lot of country music. I don't know how that started. And that was kind of when my love of country music started. And I do remember like drinking a lot. Oh, Urban Cowboy I watched and fell in love with that. I'd watched it when I was a little kid, and I loved the movie Urban Cowboy. But I would watch that and I would drink. Somewhere I wanted to become a country music singer, not singer, but writer of music. A singer too, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, he told me, he was like, every one of your poems reads like a bad country music song. I'm not the world's greatest poet, I'll just say that. I did write, actually, I wrote one jazz poem that actually got published, and it was to the Nina Simone song "No Need to Explain" and "Hush Now, Don't Explain." Hush Down, Don't Explain. I think that's what it's called. And it was about this woman that is like, maybe it was a guy, I don't remember what point of view it was, but it's like in the winter, and they've like made this dinner, and they're like waiting all night for the person to like show up, and they like know that they're like out with somebody else, but like when they come home they act like they don't. Nina Simone's music is fantastic, by the way, if you've never listened to it. I like Nina Simone's probably one of my favorite musical artists of life. But anyway, it was this very sad poem about, I must have been dating somebody at the time who, I don't know, had fallen out of love with me. My dating at the time was about, I was lucky if I stayed with somebody 3 weeks, you know? Like, that was a serious breakup to me back then. But anyway, I wrote that poem. What was I telling the story? Oh, so he had us write, I think it was him, maybe it wasn't him. I think it was him, though, that had us write to, like, a writer that we looked up to, and a writer that we, like, admired. And I picked her, and I wrote her this letter, and I said, you know, I want to be a writer, and that's like my dream, and it's my dream to write books, you know, for a living, or just, you know, for a passion or whatever. I wrote this long letter, and I talked to her about her books that she wrote, and how, you know, these characters like lived for me because I just fell in love with them. She's written several books, and she wrote one called like July 5th or 3rd, and then there was Queen of October. There was like several books at that time. She's written a book of short stories called Crash Diet. Tending to Virginia, I think is one of hers. Tending to Virginia and Crash Diet, I have not read those. Well, Crash Diet, I think I've read a couple of those stories. Like, and then she has a book of short stories called Vinyl Days or something like that. I haven't read. I'm not a short story lover. Like, I don't love to read anthologies of short stories. I like to read novels, or, you know, like longer works. So anyway, surprisingly enough, she turned around and I got this handwritten letter, which I still have in my basement. I know everything in the world's in my basement. But I got this handwritten letter from her that was like 2 pages long, telling me about how she started as a writer and encouraging me to keep on writing, and how much it meant to her that I reached out to her and all this kind of stuff. It was so nice. I cannot find one lip balm in here that I really want. This was one that I got in the Sephora or Trader Joe's. I wanted that Laneige pear. Here it is. When I was growing up, I was always jealous of women carrying purses. Friends of mine that could carry purses. Because I felt like it was this place where you could keep all of your little secret things that, you know, you wanted to have with you at all times. I don't know, there was something very cool to me about carrying a purse. I liked the idea of that. And then I started carrying a backpack for the same, you know, kind of reason. And now I carry this fanny pack. Well, I carry my backpack sometimes, but I carry my fanny pack. And I love having it, but like the other day, it was so funny because it reminded me of my mom. My mom used to like sit on her bedroom floor and she would change purses out. Do you remember this? Like, do people still do this? I guess they probably do. Because people have more than one purse, right? But like my mom would change purses out and she would like take out all the stuff from one purse and she would like lay it on the floor and then she'd like throw out the stuff that she didn't want and then she would like put it all back in another purse, like her whatever purse that she was changing it to. There was something about that to me that was always, like, I was very curious about that. Like, I loved that. And so the other day, I was going to change out my fanny packs. I have, like, tons of these, you guys, okay? But most of them are really small. It's so funny, because when I bought this, I don't really, I think maybe I got this on Amazon. I don't even remember where I got this now. No, I feel like I got it in some haul that I did for my review channel. But anyway, I didn't really think that I would use this a whole bunch, you know? But it's perfect. There's like an inside pocket, and it's big. It's like a big fanny pack. I don't ever wear it as a fanny pack. I just carry it. But like, I literally, you guys, have like 9 lip balms in here. I just need to go through and I do. I carry these little tissues that somebody sent to me in here. Isn't that so funny? What else do I have in here that would surprise you? Probably nothing. A pen. I mean, of course you need a pen in case you need to write something, right? My checkbook was in here. You guys don't truly believe that I keep a checkbook. Here's my checkbook right here. I had some banking I needed to do today. I become my mother, okay? I have totally become my mother, and then I have a checkbook in my purse. But I had to do some banking needs today. So see, like, I will show you. Like, I don't have any checks in here, but I have my ledger. Do you see? You can't see anything on it. There's you don't need to screenshot it for anything. It's literally just a ledger sheet. But anyway, but I'm like, did I show something? I better not have shown something. No. It's just a ledger thing that says like 2018, 2019, 2020. It's like the calendar thing. See, my checks aren't even in here. I'm out. I wrote my last check. I have to put another checkbook thing in here. I only write like 2 checks a month anyway, but I balance my checkbook out. I actually said to the girl when I was like, that works in there, she's so friendly. I love the people that work at my bank. They're so nice. And I said, can I get a couple of those checking ledgers, please? Because I was out. And she said, yeah, sure. And I said, I'm probably the only one that ever asked for them, aren't I? And she goes, oh, no. I said, well, I balance my checkbook. She goes, we actually have quite a few people that balance their checkbook. I said, yeah, and they're probably all 80. And she said, no. She goes, we have quite a few people your age. It's just something I've always done. I don't know. It makes me feel very secure with like financial situations. Like I know exactly how much money I have, you know, at any given time, and in the bank, and I don't worry about that. So I had noodles and company tonight for dinner, and I purposely only ate half of it so that I could eat the rest when I got home tonight from vlogging and watch a little show. I'm watching 13 Reasons Why on Netflix. When I started it this season, I was like, okay, I feel like a lot of the stuff that they're dealing with this season, this is the 3rd season, is probably very realistic to teenagers. I will say that. But like the constant, like, and maybe this is just like the mystery factor, or the, because it reminds me of Pretty Little Liars. The mystery factor of always trying to figure out, well, who did this and what did that and whatever, you know, it's like there's this huge like thriller mystery aspect to it, right? It's like I don't know, it's just, it's crazy to me, like if you watch it from like a realistic point of view, which you probably should never do that for a fictional show, right? I'm just like, how do these kids like even survive through a day of school? But I have to tell you, like, I'm enjoying watching it from kind of like a not knowing what's going to happen next point of view. But man, they're talking about some serious issues. I mean to tell you, like, they address some, I'm like, got a quarter of a tank of gas left. I'm going to go over to that one gas station where it's super cheap. They are talking about extremely serious issues in the 3rd season. I was kind of like, some of the stuff they talk about, I'm just like, and I don't know, it's just, it's a lot. But I guess a lot of those shows have a lot of stuff like that, you know what I mean? I was watching it tonight while I was eating dinner, and I was kind of like, well, I had it on the TV, and Alex has watched the season, and he shouted down, and he was like, he kept on asking me, he's like, what do you think about this character, and what do you think about that character? I was like, I don't, like, from an acting point of view, you know? And he was like, wait till you see what happens next, you're gonna be surprised. I was like, could you please, like, he hates when I do that stuff. I don't know what I'm going to watch next on Netflix. I was going to go and listen to, so I bought The Handmaid's Tale, the book, and I was going to, like, listen to that next. But I just, for some reason, was, like, kind of like, I'm not really in the mood for it. Even though I don't know what the mood for it is. But, so I was going to listen to that, and then I was going to watch the TV show. But I started Mindhunter. What I need to do is go back and forth between Mindhunter and 13 Reasons Why. I wish that I had the ability to just binge watch a show like most people out there, but I just don't. I get bored. Like, after a while, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I just get like bored of it, and I'm like, I can't just, I watched like an episode and a half, and then I'm like, I gotta go do something. I can't like sit in this house anymore. Like, that's how I am. I'm just always kind of like, I can't sit here for one more second. I'm bored. And Alex can lay there for like literally like hours and just watch one show after another. What was he watching one night? He was like, I can't believe I finished the whole, it stopped. Maybe it was Grace and Frankie that he said it to me just the other night. He's like, I can't believe I finished the whole, oh, that was when we were at the airport. He finished the whole thing. He started at the airport and finished it at the airport. I always like download all this stuff and I think that I'm gonna watch it and finish it, and I never do. I'm always like, I'm gonna get all this stuff done, and I never do, you know, all these shows. I downloaded 3 movies for our trip. Well, no, that's not true. I actually did watch quite a few movies while I was like on the way out there, but on the way back I didn't. I just watched that Dark Waters. God, it seems like so long ago that we came home, and it was just earlier this week. I guess a lot of stuff has happened this week, you know. Tonight when I was driving over to Tanya's house, it was so Tanya, when we were driving around, she goes, does it feel kind of dead to you for like a Saturday night? And I said, oh, it's completely dead. There's like nobody out. And so when I was driving over to Tanya's house, I had to drive like through the area where there's like the mall and restaurants and stuff, and like nobody's out. It's kind of weird. Like, usually on a Saturday night, you know, it would, like, the streets would be pretty busy, but there was, like, nobody out. I think I like, they're both really, really good, but I think I like the cucumber lime one better. Is it cucumber lime or cucumber mint? I think it's cucumber lime. Alex got some work stuff he has to do tomorrow, and then he has a dinner that he's going to with a friend, and he asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, they're trying some new restaurant. But I don't know, I may just feel like I want to stay at home and just kind of like hang out. And I was gonna do a live stream tonight. I might do it tomorrow. I haven't done a live stream in forever. Mel and I really wanted to do one when I was out in Arizona, but it's just like time got away from us, and then we were like trying. I said to her, I said, I feel like half the things I wanted to do we didn't even get to, and she's like, I know, me too, I felt that way. And or I felt that way too, she said. And so when I go back out there, we'll do some of those things, and it'll be fun. But today's Friday the 13th. Well, it's over now. But I was like, is it time to announce our March book? So we picked our March book already, or we're reading our March book right now, aren't we? We picked our April book. So it's not a serial killer book. I think people will be surprised by what we picked. It's not a serial killer book because we are coming up on the summer of serial killers, which I'm very excited about. But we like went through like all these serial killers, and we're like, okay, who do we want to read about? Who do people want to read about? Who, like, we went through and like really, like, we were very decisive about it, like the first night that we were there, and we looked through a lot of true crime books and tried to pick like books that we thought that people would find interesting. You know, like a lot of people that we haven't read about. We actually, each of us brought up like books that really weren't about like serial killers, but were more about like just crime in general. Not in general, but like specific things about crime, but not serial killers, you know? And so I'm thinking that the April book's gonna be really interesting. I actually mentioned it to Alex. He's like, oh my God, because there's a movie. And he's like, I've really wanted to watch that movie. And I said, yeah, well, I think we're gonna watch the movie too for, you know, the book club. We'll read the book and watch the movie. And, but I'm really excited about it because it's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be really good. My forehead keeps on itching right here. I think it's because of my hat. Oh, what else? What else? I feel like there were other things I want to tell you about. Oh, so anyway, I'm listening to Ferris Beach by Jill McCorkle. I'm on chapter 4 right now. I'm an hour and a half into it. And I want to listen to like another hour of it tonight. I'd like to finish it in the next couple days. I have so many books that I want to read right now. Oh, that's what I did. I went to Half Price Books today. I was in there for like 40 minutes. I was in there forever. I actually ran into a recovery friend of mine in there. And she and I talked for a long time. And I got 2 books. I got the first book I got when I was standing right next to her. She gave me a coupon, actually. I was like, oh, well, I probably have it on my email in my car because I didn't bring my phone in. I've been like trying not to bring my phone into places when I go into places, which somebody told me, and I need to remember this, but like I try to stay focused with like whatever I'm doing or who I'm with, which is why I don't bring a phone in. But then I said that on a vlog one night, and somebody was like, you need to take your phone in with you in case something happens while you're in a store. And I always like think of that now when I don't take my phone in. But tonight I was trying to like be focused on like looking for books, and I didn't want to like be distracted if my phone was like going off and whatever. But I know I should be taking my phone in, so I'll take it in, just put it in my back pocket and turn it off or whatever. But anyway, so I walked in and I saw her, and she was like, oh, I have this 40% off coupon, but I have, do you remember when we used to say coupon, not coupon? I swear we used to call it coupon, not coupon. But anyway, and it just changed one day. I don't know who decided that, but that must have been a very important decision. So, but she was like, oh, I have a printout one that they sent me, and I also have the email one, so you can have the printed one. So she gave me the printed one. It was like 40% off your highest price item. So then she and I were like talking, and we're like showing each other books, and I was telling her about the Delia Owens book, and she was like telling me about books that she thought I should read, and we were like going back and forth. And so I was telling her about the book club, and she was telling me about how she used to have like a recovery book club, but then people didn't want to attend afterwards. I said, oh, we should start that up. That would be so much fun to have like people in recovery, you know, and just read recovery things. So, but anyway, just like a small, you know, book club, like 4 or 5 people. But anyway, because Tanya's friends with her too, so we could have like just 4 or 5 people and just meet for coffee like once a month, you know. Something social. And then I get to read like a recovery memoir or whatever. I love recovery memoirs like nobody's business. They are so good. If you have not read Drinking a Love Story, Beautiful Boy, or Blackout, Remembering the Things I Drank to Forget, especially the last one, those are 3 of the best alcoholic and drug memoirs ever. And Beautiful Boy is David Sheff, and it's from Nick Sheff's point of view. So it's from Nick Sheff's father's point of view. Nick Sheff wrote Tweak, which is his story that kind of coincides with his dad's story about his addiction. So Nick Sheff is the son and David Sheff is the father. I haven't read Tweak, but Beautiful Boy was incredible. So anyway, what was I gonna say? I don't even remember now. Oh, it was in Half Price Books. I think I'm gonna take a different way tonight. I never go this way. Here's the gas station where Tanya, Jean, and I go though all the time, right here. You wanna see it? I did my review video there today. Now, we're like out by where I grew up. Isn't that weird? My dad lives out here. Okay, so, oh, I know you guys want to know a little story. Here, I'll show you. Little show and tell. Right here, this bridge. Do you see this bridge right here? Same bridge as when I was in high school. So, I drove a little Mitsubishi Montero, and I flipped it right there on black ice, and it went over the bridge, it flipped over the bridge and into the water. Happened in December when I was a junior. Actually, that was when I was driving I had a blue Mitsubishi Montero. And then this house right here, which doesn't look anything like it did back then, they redid this whole thing. I walked up there and I was in total shock, and they were so nice. And it was like 6 o'clock in the morning because I was driving from my dad's house to my mom's house to change and get ready for school because I left my stuff at my mom's house. And they were so nice, and they called my dad, and my dad came out and got me, and he was like really scared for me. I totaled the Jeep. I remember, it was the weirdest thing, you guys. Okay, so here's the side story to it. My friends and I were going to visit our friend in southern Indiana for the weekend. And my dad, for Christmas, he would always get like a lot of liquor that people would give him for like Christmas presents, right? Like, you know, like people give like doctors and stuff, like, you know, and attorneys like very expensive whiskeys and whatever. Well, there was a bunch of it that like they were gonna re-gift, I think, or something. It was just like all sitting in an area, and I don't know what they were gonna do with it. But I took this champagne bottle that was like in the corner. It was like there was like 4 champagne bottles in a corner, and it was like it was in the corner of like the living room on the floor, like kind of by the Christmas tree, but like not. And so I just like took this bottle of champagne for like our weekend, right? I was like, oh, we're gonna be drinking champagne or whatever. When I got out of that car, okay, and I had this half of the car was in the creek. I had to climb out of this side window to get out. And when I got out, I was like, that bottle of champagne was in my bag. I went to the trunk of the car, and I like got like the whole back window broke out. I got my bag out, and I took that bottle of champagne and I chucked it as far as I could. Not sick, like that's all I thought about back then, right? So sad. But anyway, I remember I came down, because if you come down that road a little bit, you come down and then it goes up like this. And I remember right before I hit the ice, I looked at it. And so like, you know, like black ice is like when you can't even see it. It's like the road is like, it looks, you know, wet, or it looks like it's just, you know, there's no ice on it. And I remember I hit it, and like as soon as I hit it, like I think I like pumped my brakes like that. And then I was like, I remember thinking to myself, I don't remember if you're supposed to turn against it or with it. Like I couldn't remember. I still to this day, I don't know if I know. I think you're supposed to turn against it. So anyway, I was like, I don't remember if you're supposed to turn against it, or because my car started spinning. That's what happened. And I was like, I don't know if you're supposed to spin with it or turn against it or with it to stop it. I literally thought I was gonna die. And so I just sat back like this in my car seat. I thought it was so fast. And what's so weird is that I remember I was listening to this tape. I was addicted to this, I used to listen to a lot of instrumental music, and I don't know if somebody out there will know what I'm talking about, but there was like an instrumental group called Windham Hill, and they had these like Christmas CDs that they would, or tapes, it was a tape that they would put out, but they weren't Christmas music. They had like 1 or 2 Christmas ones, but these were all like winter music, and it was just like this, it was this one song, and it was called Winter something, and I love this one CD. It was so weird because I remember just spinning and spinning in this car. It felt like I spun forever, but I'm sure I didn't. And I hit the bridge and went over it. And when the car stopped and it was totally silent, I mean, I just sat there for a second. I was fine. There wasn't a scratch on me or anything, but like I was totally silent. That CD was playing, and it was the weirdest thing because it was like, you know, winter, it had been snowing, it was in December, it was like the week that school got out, and I think that was the weekend that we were, yeah, because it was like the week of school getting out, and like the woods was so still right there. And then I walked up to those people's house, and I rang their doorbell. I think they were kind of like, who was coming to our doorbell at 6 o'clock in the morning? And I was like, I was very like calm, almost like in shock. And then they called my dad for me, and then my dad came and he was very, very worried. And I remember like getting in the car, and I just kind of like freaked out. Like it hit me like that. Forgot all about that. I drive up and down that road all the time, and I don't think about that very often. You ever think about like moments that happened to you in your life that happened to you when you were all alone, that like nobody else experienced with you? Like you can tell them to somebody, oh, I was gonna go to the gas station. Like you can tell them to somebody and you can explain them to them, but they weren't there and they'll never truly understand. And like you think about those things in life that we experience just on our own, you know? Nobody else, just on our own. Kind of a serenity and a peace to that, I think, on some level. Kind of reminds me of, like, looking back on it now, like the moment that I was like, you know, in that animal trap in the woods when my friend had to go get my dad for that moment too, you know? All right, you guys, listen, I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna get gas in just a second, so I'm gonna get off here now. I think I've vlogged for, God, I don't know, probably about an hour. Anyway, it's Saturday. So you don't want to sit around and be watching a vlog all day long, or do you, Lisa and the Cult Jam? Do you want to watch my 3-hour vlog today? Well, this isn't it, but it's coming real soon. I should do a 3-hour vlog really soon, shouldn't I? Oh my God, gas is $1.82. Unreal. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something exciting. Watch a great show. If you're watching a great show, put it in the comment section below and tell me that I need to watch this. I still need to finish The Good Place. But anyway, let me know what your show you're watching. Do something fun today. Eat some different kind of food or something. And also make sure that you do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it. 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 years, 6 months, however long. When you look back on it, you'll be very proud of yourself for doing this today and starting this thing and doing whatever with your life. Do something today that will make yourself proud when you look back on it. And most importantly, I don't know what my thing is going to be that I'm going to do today that will make myself proud. I have a new book idea. Maybe it'll be that I'm going to sit down and actually work on this book idea and start outlining it. So anyway, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, I love you, you are valuable, you are important, you matter, you are worthy of good things, you are beautiful, you are talented, you are funny. What else? You're a good person. Good things are coming your way. Today is going to be an amazing day. And 2020 is going to be your best year yet, full of happiness, success, and all of the things that you could possibly imagine. I'm looking at you for this. All the things that you could possibly imagine. Yeah. And most importantly, make sure that you let somebody know how important they are to you today, how important they are to you today. Pick out somebody at random and just say, hey, I wanted to let you know that you really mean the world to me and I appreciate you for being in my life. I love you and thank you for all you do for me. And anybody, it can be anybody, you know. But maybe today, pick somebody special, like a family member or a friend or, you know, a spouse, child, somebody, you know, that, or children, sometimes we don't tell them enough, you know. Just want you to know how much I love you and how much you mean to me. I think we say it in some ways, but maybe not others, to let our children know how proud we are of them, you know. Like the Toni Morrison saying, when your child, when child walks in the room, they look to see, do your eyes light up? Think about that. And what else? Oh, of course, practice random acts of kindness. Don't forget, practice, I cannot speak anymore. I just want to listen to my book now, I'm tired. I was gonna listen to like an hour of my book and now I'm getting tired. I'm gonna listen to 15 minutes of it and go to bed. That's why it's taken me so long to listen to books lately. Anyway, most importantly, no, not most importantly, but don't forget to practice random acts of kindness. And what? Don't tell anyone. And I love you guys and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh wait, I will tell. I love you guys and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Just had to say it one more time. I love you. 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 Bye.